Hey everyone! So this little video is hopefully going to help you work through the recorder sole lead during Lament and Tribal Dance at measure 117. Let's review a couple of really important fingerings before we go through the whole thing. C on recorder is not like flute. You're used to this with just his first finger, okay? However, C on recorder is back thumb and middle finger C, which you probably know this already. A is the same as flute. G is the same as flute. B natural is the same as flute with thumb and first finger. So you won't be using B at all, I do not believe. But what you will be using, which is a little different, is this D key, or these Ds, okay? Now, it's the same type thing as low D on flute. So thumb, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you will be playing the slow one. Now, you probably want to use a tuner. If you don't know this, the top of your recorder pops off, okay? And you can use this to tune, right? Just like head joint on flute, just make sure that it is tuned properly. This one is actually not long enough to tune correctly, but I'll be able to show you all the proper fingerings and give you an idea of how each one of these works. So if you take a look right here, this fingering is D. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this does cover both holes there. You're not going to use any of the half holes on the bottom. So that gets the D out. Now, in order to play the higher D, an octave higher on this, you have to do what we call a half hole. And they use it a lot on oboe and bassoon. There's tons of half holes. But in this case, what this is going to do is pop you up an octave higher. And the proper way to do that is to take your first finger here, and you're going to roll it down. Now, you can only see that it's half holed if I kind of tilt this forward. But what I'm doing is rolling my first finger down, just like the clarinets do when they play an A on the clarinet. You're going to roll that down. So if I play a low D, and then I roll, you're going to notice immediately it pops up an octave. Now, you don't have to blow very hard at all on recorder for any of your pitches to pop out. They just do. I'm barely blowing any air. Now be careful, if you blow too much air on the low D, it's going to pop an octave, just like flute. But that is not the proper fingering. Just like on flute, you can't play that middle D without lifting the finger up. Well, you can't play that middle D without half-holing that. So, just like we discussed, measure 117, C starts here, G, A. So your first measure, and the grace note is very quick and it happens right before the beat. Now, many of you may not know this fingering for the low F, or for F at all on here, so let's take a quick lesson. Thumb, 1, 2, 3, and like flute, you play this first one. However, this finger does get covered. So 1, 2, and 3, 1, and ring finger. That one does not. The middle finger does not cover this button right here. And then you've got the thumb on the back. So here's your low F. The only difference between that F and the high F that you're going to play here in just a couple of minutes is, again, this half-hold finger. This is a rolled technique. You have to roll this in order. You cannot pick it up and try to half-hole it because you'll miss. It is a rolled technique. So, now, keep in mind, like I said, this recorder is not exactly in tune, but it'll at least help you get an idea. So your first two measures, and it does repeat. Then we go up to that F, okay? Now, you probably are having no problems at all hitting the C, G, A, C. next trick to this is to not scoop, which I just did. But the trick is to not scoop, and the way to not do that is the appropriate half-hole roll. So I would use that there. Keep your fingers really close to the keys. Same technique as flute, curved fingers and pinkies. And when you hit this, you really need to make sure that you're only opening half. This should pop the octave. Now, you're going to have that D to C. Sorry, school bell. And it's kind of sharp. It's going to be sharp. So what you'll need to do is check the length of your recorder and make sure that it is tuned properly, okay? Like I said, this recorder is actually a little bit short, so it's very sharp. So when you go here, you've got C, G, A, C. Then you pop up to the D, and you have to half-hole that. D, then down to C. Keep your thumb on for C. And then up to F. Now, we hold 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and thumb, just like you do for the low one, except you have to half-hold this one. So, I would practice so that you can get that out. Same for the D. Now, so this whole section, okay, so if I'm going to play this, you have to remember doing your half holes on your D and your F. So this whole section sounds like this. Sorry, I cracked that. And that is going to take a little bit of practice. Notice here on this F, I'm only covering half the hole. That is the only way the octave is going to pop out. If you leave this first finger off, you're not going to get that note. You may get it, and it may just be out of tune. So, there it is. So you have to have just enough half hole on this. I'm going to play it once. Actually, I'm going to play it twice through. Once for you to listen to and finger along, and then play along with me on the second one. So this is 117 to 125. And if you notice, 125 to 133 is identical. So here's 117. All right, play along with me this time. Here we go. Now I'm going to add one last little piece to this. What may help with the intonation is if you are familiar with how to do vibrato, you can pump your stomach air. I know some of you might take private lessons, others of you may not. But what I do is on this, I like to use vibrato because not everybody's recorder may be exactly the same length, and if it is not, then you're more likely to be out of tune. So if you could add a little vibrato by gently pumping your air, it's like playing flute. So if I record this, you can avoid some of the intonation issues by using just a little bit of a wave in the sound. It's much easier to do on recorder than it is on flute. I think that's just about it. I would practice this very slowly and really practice your octaves. And then with the F. And it will help you. Just a reminder, you have to half hole that top one and gently roll down. If you have any questions, talk to Miss Wallace and she will email me. All right, good luck.